How's it going, everybody? Today in recovery, I get to express, my deepest feelings about relapse and slip ups. But I also get to introduce the concept of my higher power. Relapse and slip ups are very, very embarrassing and hard to deal with. I've had plenty of those throughout my journey of recovery. Um, and each time I learned something different from the experience. And each one brought me to a definite reminder that it doesn't change. The result of uselessness, self pity, shame, and so many self destructive thoughts, they don't change. They progressively get worse. And the fact is about us who are living in the world of addiction, even in those who are in recovery, have the obsession over whatever it is that kills us, right? Physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And that is the sickness of the spirit, the mind, and the soul. And the fact that the other day I was just thinking about this, I was contemplating on it, and it was crazy because I was like, this is insane because I have to live with this for the rest of my life. I have to accept that I am who I am. And that comes with all of my character defects and all of my other, I would say even good assets, right? But I have to live with all of it. I can't just rid it, or whatever. I have to allow a power greater than myself to guide me through something that is too far for me to comprehend. In fact, addiction and alcoholism is something that is a power that is beyond my capacity in my brain to fully comprehend. And when I come to agreement with that myself, that like, yeah, I'm ready to accept step one, that my life was completely ran by my addiction, whether I was in active full addiction to a substance or, even a processing addiction, behavioral addiction, that once I accept that and that my life was completely unmanageable, even though I might not know the extent of the unmanageability, but through step one, I can then move on to the next step, which allows me to open my mind up to something that is far greater than I am. And even just accepting the fact that, I was pretty much agnostic. And for those people out there who are agnostic, not so sure about the possibility of one or the other, in my understanding, um, what I love about agnosticism is that, you know, at least we can start with the idea of I don't know, right? There could be, there couldn't. I don't know. That's a great way, to start off because it's a very humble approach, right? To say that, well, I don't know if really, all this stuff in the Bible is true. I don't know if really all this stuff about Buddha is true or Taoism or whatever approach, because I am a finite, everything that's around this world. I get to eventually come down to my finite self and understand who I am. And through that, I can learn serenity. And from that, I can then develop and grasp the idea that at least I know that my addiction is far powerful than I thought, far more powerful than I thought. So much the fact that I knew I could not rid it myself. And of course, I need to learn how to step outside of myself to learn that my finite self is not capable of grasping such a mannerism of addiction in which is in my control to either stop or put an end to it. But once I accept, I can learn what is something that is bigger than me that might help, at least for the next 24 hours. Or even, some might even say, to give me the gift of desperation. That is something where I understand that is a power greater than myself. To be desperate to do something, that's a great, great power outside of myself, right? That allows me to reach for something that is bigger than what I can obtain. And so from then, I can learn the idea that agnosticism actually isn't a bad place to start, because it's a humble place to say at first, I don't know, but I could be open to such different ideas. Be open to maybe letting go of those past ideas about previous religious notions, but maybe perhaps be able to pick out one of those things or a few things from that to say, hey, there were good things about that I did like, but all the other stuff I didn't really fully get and I didn't understand. So I can then say, okay, I'll start there. Or I can learn from the program and say, hey, maybe this person's idea of power greater themselves could just be the universe itself. Because that is something that's actually, physically obtainable to see, that is a power greater than myself. That there's something running this universe, right? That is far my understanding to fully comprehend. Especially when we have scientists who are spending their whole lives trying to understand the cosmic universe, but even then they can't fully comprehend the vastness and power, sheer power of the universe, right? So that's where you can start, right? For some reason, that might be it. Or it could be just the recovery program in general. Maybe the recovery program that there is someone who is sober from their addictive tendencies or their alcoholism, and they've been able to do it. So that obviously means that something about their program gives me hope that it's possible.